things, I'm going to be showing you the novoWorx platform. Um, novoWorx is one of our more recent products, so it's actually a gene data management and analysis platform. So what novoWorx constitutes is what it actually is. It's supposed to be a one-stop solution for people who are actually interested in bioinformatics work, but they may not necessarily have the technical skills to run a Linux-based server, run command line tools, stuff like that. So what we've tried to do is we've tried to put all of these into a user interface. I think if you're familiar with Galaxy, you're familiar with some workbench, what a workbench system is. So we made it so that it's a local install, or you can do it as a cloud install. You can also put it into any kind of architecture, because we are basically using a virtual machine to run novoWorx. So as long as your system is able to run a virtual machine, you should be able to run novoWorx. There's very little setup necessary if you are running this novoWorx system. You just have to download the virtual machine image, put it into your virtual machine manager, and you should be able to use it right out of the box. So a few things that we've done for novoWorx is we've optimized our pipelines. So in novoWorx, we call the pipelines as protocols. They're named protocols. And the protocols are optimized to the kind of research that you're doing. We have a limited number of protocols at the moment. We're still in the process of building more. But what we've done is we've actually gone and benchmarked. We've tried to parameterize these as optimally as possible for the kind of research that our clients who are using the pipelines are doing. And also, we have multiple user and access levels for novoWorx itself. So if you're getting the novoWorx system for, let's say, a laboratory or class, the lecturer can have one access level. He can assign the access level to multiple users or the students, and you can control your data flow from there. As in, you can control the sharing of your data, the sharing of your references, the sharing of your pipelines and protocols, the resources. All of that can be controlled from within novoWorx itself. So, like I mentioned earlier, the pipelines that we have, they're actually called protocols, and we've split them into full pipelines, modules, and also utility pipelines. So the full pipelines are, for example, the RNA-seq or the PacBio-IsoSeq analysis, where it goes all the way from the beginning to the end, up to variant calling and some basic analytics. The modules are the individual tools that you have within novoWorx itself. For example, if you want to run an alignment, you just use novoAlign, and there's a novoAlign specific module, just an alignment module that runs the alignment and also the sorting in one shot. And there's also utility pipelines, for example, Adapt, Chromatic, open source tools that you can use to actually QC, to actually edit your reads, to just run some kind of utilities on your reads itself, your data itself. So we've done it in 4 steps. Usage of novoWorx is done in 4 major steps. So the first one is the data upload. The second one is the reference creation, the pipeline selection, and the project creation. So these 3 are generally a one-off process. You normally only have to do these 3 steps at one time. If you've already done all of these 3, you can just proceed to the project creation, no problem. So I think we'll just proceed to the demonstration. I'll show you what is novoWorx and how you're going to use it. So this is novoWorx right out of the box. What we have is a web browser-based system. It runs on most supported web browsers, Google Chrome, Firefox. We've tested it on Internet Explorer. Opera, Safari, we've not really done much testing, but we know it runs. If there's any problem, we don't really know what's going on yet. Within novoWorx, like I said, there's 4 steps. So your data upload, your project creation, your protocol selection, and also your project running. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to go through all of these steps very roughly, because we only have about 15 minutes. And if you have any questions, then you can ask them at the end of the session. Sounds alright? So I'm sorry for the resolution of this. So in novoWorx itself, we have a data hub, which is the data management system of novoWorx. So in the data hub, you can upload your reads and your input data. it will automatically arrange your reads into read groups based on the Illumina name convention. And if you expand, for example, you expand your read group here, you can see that you have the read 1 and read 2 all combined under one read group itself. So if you have multiple lanes, you have multiple reads for the same read group, it will be all put into this multiple read flow. And within the data hub, you can actually add your metadata to your files. So these are some of the prefix metadata, but you are also able to add your own metadata if you would like to. So if you add a new column, you can actually add new metadata. The resolution is not good. So actually you can add a new metadata. There's a new column, you create a new column here. You can add your own metadata. And this metadata you can actually use for downstream analytics. So if you're going to group your samples, you're going to group your data, your outputs, you can do it by the metadata itself. So once if you want to upload your data, novoWorx actually is a very simple, just a drag and drop process. Just click on new record, create a new record, and then you have this green box here where you can just drag and drop your data. So what you can do is you can just drag and drop your data. And it will show you the process of your upload, how long it's going to take. Once it's done, you just have to click OK, and your data will be shown here. So for example, I've uploaded multiple copies of the same file. They won't be deleted. Each copy of the file will be put in with a unique ID, and you will still be able to access these files. If you want, you can selectively delete the copies, or you can use all of these. You can selectively use either one of these when you're running your project. So once you're satisfied with your actual data upload, you can move on to building your references. So in novoWorx, we have two types of references: the standard references that we build for you, or also the references that you can build yourself. If you have any standard FASTA file, you're able to upload it to novoWorx and actually build your own reference. So you don't have to use a publicly available reference. You can also use your own reference if you have a reference file. If you want to upload a reference, it's the same process where you just click on add a new reference. You just give it a name, a description, and a species. And you can choose between a DNA or mRNA reference. You can choose between an RNA, either an RNA index or GMAT for bioindexing. And you can upload your reference file here. Same thing. Once you've uploaded your reference file, you just click on Save Reference. So when you click on Save Reference, what it does is it actually goes in the background, it creates your own index, and it creates an index that's usable within novoWorx. Because in novoWorx, we use the Apollo genome browser to actually view your genomes. So if you don't build the index for this, then we have some problems with the viewing. So what we do is we build the reference for you in the backend. It will take a bit of time, depending on the size of your reference. And once your reference is here, it's available here. If, let's say, you have any annotations that you want to add to your reference, all you have to do is you double click on this, click on Edit, and you can add your annotation files here. And again, the upload process is just a drag and drop process to this box. So once you've added your annotation, again, you just go down and you click on Save Reference. So once you've saved your reference, the next step is to go to the protocols. Protocols in novoWorx, they're a bit different from the last time that we had this. So what you can do is we've listed out all our protocols in the utility pipelines, the individual modules, and also the full protocols here. And for each of these, what you can do is just go and switch to another window. So for each of these, what you can do is you can actually double click on this, and you can view what are the tools that are being used within novoWorx, within this protocol itself. And each of these has their own description. What is their function? What will be the outputs? What are they producing? And also the versions of the tools will also be provided here. So if you want to run your protocol, sometimes what you do is you want to optimize your parameters by yourself. We've already done the optimization of the parameters, so we've chosen the best default parameters for you based on our testing. But if you want to change the parameters for yourself and you want to use it over and over again to run your project reproducibly, what you can do is you go to protocols, you click on create new protocol, you choose the protocol that you want to edit, and under here, under each individual module, you will have the parameters that are attached to this module. You can change the parameters, you can add parameters. If, let's say, the parameter for this particular tool, the specific parameter that you want to change is not within the tool itself, you can contact us and we will add the parameter to the list. So what you can do is you just change the parameters. For example, you want to increase the alignment score limit. So you just change the alignment score limit, you give it a new name. And when you save your protocol, what happens is it's created as the new protocol here. And this protocol, you can use it over and over again for all your projects, for multiple projects. And what you can do is you can also share this protocol with other users. So the next step is creating a project. So when you go to your projects tab, you'll have a list of all the projects that you have previously run or are currently running. And you will be shown the status here. The status is all here. Whether it's completed, whether it's killed, whether it's failed, or whether it's running. So what you can do is you can just click on create new project. Give it a name and description. Choose your protocol. If you would like to use the basic protocols that we already have, use that. Or if you want to use the protocol that you just added earlier, you just have to click on this. If you're using a reference-based protocol, your reference will be active here. You'll be able to choose your reference from here. If you're using a protocol that does not require a reference, this will be grayed out. The next step is actually adding your data. So this is your data within your data hub, or you can actually use data from completed projects. If you want to use data from completed projects, you just have to go to add input from project, and you will be given a list of all your projects that are completed and that you have access to. So for example, if you share a completed project with someone else, they will have access to a project and they'll be able to use that project as an input to their new project. When you expand the box, you will get a list of all the files that are produced by this project, and you can just use this for your as your input to your new project. Some protocols require additional files for you to run. A list of these additional files is actually in the protocol help guide. We have a list of guides that we use, that we've listed out in the home page. I'll show you later. This has the entire flow of all the projects, all the protocols. You can refer to that in terms of what inputs it takes, what outputs it produces. Sometimes you even give you, depending on the protocol, how do you interpret and how do you analyze the outputs? How do you read the outputs? So if there are any additional files, you can check in the guidelines and you can actually just add them here. And then just save and run your project. When you save and run your project, the project will appear here. And if you would like to actually view the project, you just double click on the project. Just choose one here. So when you open your project view, what you'll get is you'll get a full list of the modules that have run and their status, also the timing for each of the modules. So the time elapsed, the date started, all of this information is always here. when you go to your projects, you click on the pipeline outputs, you will get a full list of the files that are produced by this project. Most of these files are viewable natively within novoWorx itself, so you don't actually have to open Excel, you don't have to open a separate program to view the files. For example, if you want to view a TSV file, we have our native TSV viewer, where actually within all of these fields, you can actually filter, you can actually sort, you can view the files according to however you prefer. So we support most of these files that we output. Some of the files, for example the BAM file, we can't view them here, but you can actually view them within the Apollo genome browser. So if you click on the genome browser here, what happens is you will be brought to the Apollo genome browser. And this is the same as using IGV if you've used IGV before, where you can use this to view your genomes visually, view alignments visually, and you can check them if you want to look at the visual, if you want to look at the alignments. We also have a new feature within novoWorx where there's a summary, but not all of the protocols have a summary available. What happens is the summary will be, there will be a graph, an interactive graph that you can also download for use in publications and also for use in static projects. You can download the graphs, and the graphs are customizable. We have a full list of graphs. If you want to see them a bit more, you can come by the booth later and I can show you a bit more. So that would end my demo for novoWorx. That's all I have for now. Do you guys have any questions? Anything that you'd like to ask or was not clear?
So the virtual machine can run in VirtualBox or
virtual machine. It runs in VirtualBox and also VMware,
okay.
but mostly we run it in VirtualBox.
In VirtualBox.
Yeah.
Has it been? Have you thought about putting it into a Docker container or?
The whole machine, no. But our tools actually, we do put them into Docker containers within the virtual machine.
Okay.
We also have a cloud application that we're developing, so that would be more Dockerized. So the machines themselves, they put into Dockers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, before taking more questions, I want to ask: is the second speaker software demo to the tool, Roma tool, Factoria here?
So if there's nothing else, we'll be at the booth right out front at the RRG Hall. Is it RRG Hall, sorry. If you have any questions, you can come by the booth. If not, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.